Another nail in my coffin!
Hey everybody, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. Last week I finished covering Victor Crowley, which was the fourth film in Adam Green's Hatchet franchise. This week is my Golden Nail Awards, which I hold after I cover every franchise that has at least 4 movies within the library. So today I'm going to discuss my favorite 1, 2, and 3 nail kills in the entire franchise. And I did give out a lot of half a nail kills, so if someone got 1.5 nail kills, they'll compete for the Golden 1 Nail Award. They got 2.5 nails, they'll compete for the Golden 2 Nail Award, and so on and so forth. I'm also going to discuss the films with the highest and lowest average of nails in a coffin and give you my ideas on why I think those films came up with those averages. And then I'll wrap everything up with a quick ranking of the franchise. Real quick, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell. I do put out a new Nails in Coffin video out every single Friday, and I have videos going out every Wednesday as well. I'll put some cards up here for you to check out. And one of my series you can actually be part of, and that's a ton of fun. So, let's get started. We'll discuss the averages first. So, Hatchet, you can see, had an average of 1.82 nails in a coffin. Hatchet 2, slightly lower with 1.7 nails. Hatchet 3, the lowest average with 1.36, and Victor Crowley coming somewhere in the middle with 1.5 nails in a coffin. So, Hatchet had the highest average nails in a coffin with 1.82 nails. Now, I did give out a decent number of 2 nail kills, and those were the victims stood no chance of survival, or at least they tried to get away, or they told others to run while they were being killed. In this franchise, going up against Victor Crowley, that really does speak a lot, because most of the victims, they just really wanted to go on a haunted swamp tour. They really didn't do anything that they thought would be inherently dangerous, and they really didn't make that many stupid decisions. They just got put in a bad situation, and they did the best they could with it. So, yeah, you can see here with all the ones I gave out, good fair amount of 2 nail kills, because they really didn't deserve what they got. They really didn't make any stupid decisions that put them in a bad position, most of them. So, that's why I think why the original Hatchet had the highest average with 1.82. And Hatchet 3 had the lowest, which makes sense to me since a lot of the law enforcement and SWAT officers acted like they had no training whatsoever. I always grade law enforcement victims a little bit harder, since I think they should have a modicum of training on what to do in a life-threatening situation. You know, like how to search, how to clear a room, how not to sweep someone with the barrel of your weapon, or even how to use your weapons, which a lot of these officers, I don't think they knew how to use them. I gave 4 officers 1 nail in a coffin all at the same time, since they chose to kick and punch Victor Crowley instead of using their weapons, which they all had, and nobody had really fired that many rounds yet. So they weren't empties, they were loaded. So yeah, they made a lot of stupid decisions. The law enforcement really did. A lot of 1 nail kills in this film, because yeah, law enforcement was really poor in it, putting themselves in that situation, acting like they had no training at all. Which is why Hatchet 3 came in with the lowest average nails in the coffin. And here's a look at the overall kills and nails for the entire Adam Green's Hatchet franchise. Overall, there were 50 kills, and I gave out 78 nails for all of them. So the overall average nails in the coffin for the entire franchise is 1.56 nails, which I think is pretty common compared to all the other films I've covered on this series so far. Yeah, seems pretty average for me, so I think that will make sense here. Next up, you've been waiting for, here are my Golden Nail Awards. These are my favorite kills for each nail rating, and they stood out to me for various reasons, which I will discuss with each award. Starting with the Golden 1 Nail Award. That goes to Janet from the original Hatchet. This is one of my favorite kills in the entire franchise, and I picked it for the Golden 1 Nail Award just because it was so brutal. I love the way it was shot. The camera swings around 360 degrees as Victor Crowley is pulling Janet's head open from her mouth as if he was opening a bag of chips. Then you still see her tongue twitching, which makes you think, how much of that kill was she alive for? So it's just a brutal, very well done kill with practical effects. It looks fantastic. Yeah, she died horribly, and that earned her the Golden 1 Nail Award for the Hatchet franchise. And the Golden 2 Nail Award, Marcus, Ben's buddy. I like Marcus. He was a fun character, great companion to Ben. They had great chemistry together. And, you know, during the entire movie, he kept getting bad feelings during this swamp tour. Something just wasn't right. And I think if Ben had originally listened to Marcus, they wouldn't have had to experience this ordeal. Ben wanted to go on that haunted swamp tour. Marcus tried to talk him out of it, but Marcus was just being a good friend to Ben. And what really sold this kill for me, not only was, Marcus killed brutally by Victor Crowley, is he yelled at Ben and Mary Beth to run while he was being crushed to death. So he knew he was done for, and he was still worried about his best friend and Mary Beth. Hey, go run, even though I'm dying, go run and save yourselves. He was one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise. Really fun guy, great chemistry, great performance by the actor, which is why Marcus is getting the Golden 2-Nail Award. And finally, the Golden 3-Nail Award. There is no Golden 4-Nail Award, because I didn't give any of those out. So the final recipient for the Hatchet franchise for the Golden 3-Nail Award goes to Dylan. Like I said, there were only 2 victims in the entire franchise that I gave at least 3 nails, and I knew Dylan was going to be up there regardless. He was our last one killed in the entire franchise. He just last one to die in Victor Crowley. And I think he's perfect fitting for the Golden 3-Nail Award. He was a goof. He wasn't that bright, but he was just being himself. He really wasn't a creep or anything. He just genuinely wanted to help others. My favorite part of the franchise was him. He was really well acted. And one thing I really loved was when Casey was drowning, Dylan was holding her hand, screaming just at the horror of it. And it's a really dark moment in this, this horror comedy, but it was done so well. You really see how upset Dylan was. And he was definitely one of my favorite characters. I think he did a great performance. And the way he sacrificed himself at the end, he told Rose, I would have had your babies, and he boops her on the nose as he runs in to tackle Victor Crowley into the engine of the airplane, sacrificing himself to save people he just met. That's what I'm looking for when I give out 3 to 4 nails, and I think he's more than deserving to get the Golden 3-Nail Award. So, quick summary. These are all my Golden Nail Awards for the Hatchet franchise. The Golden 1-Nail Award, Janet from the original Hatchet. Golden 2-Nail Award, Marcus from the original Hatchet. And the Golden 3-Nail Award from the latest film in the franchise, Victor Crowley, Dylan. And let's wrap things up with a quick ranking of the franchise. Won't take long since there's only 4 movies. Before I get started, I do like all these movies. None of them are really bad. I can rewatch any of them at any time. They're all pretty close in quality. So ranking these wasn't that easy. It had to came down to 1 or 2 things that I like better in some of the films. So coming in at number 4 was Hatchet 2. It was fine. I just kind of liked the other ones better. Number 3 was Victor Crowley. Really enjoyed this movie, but some of the acting was kind of a little wonky, which is why I put it in the number 3 spot. Number 2, the original Hatchet. Great movie. Great way to start a franchise. If the franchise ended here, it would have been fantastic, but they kept continuing on, which was even more great. It works as a standalone, and it works at the first film in a long-running franchise. Great throwback to 80s slashers, which is one of the taglines for the movie. It works extremely well. And my favorite was Hatchet 3, and I think I had the most fun with this movie. Now, granted, it's kind of funny that this came in with the lowest average nails in a coffin because the law enforcement was so stupid, but Victor Crowley was just brutal in this film. He just wiped out everybody without even, breaking a sweat, pretty much. I liked how the SWAT team was there and everything. You had Billy from Gremlins in there, all these cameos. It just worked really well. I had a lot of fun with Hatchet 3, just watching Victor Crowley annihilate just about every single person in this film. And of course, you did have Danielle Harris as Mary Beth, and she was just excellent. Love her to death. Can't wait to see what she does in this franchise in the future. So, my rankings are number 4, Hatchet 2, number 3, Victor Crowley, number 2, Hatchet, and my favorite film of the franchise was Hatchet 3. Well, that wraps things up, ladies and gentlemen. Real quick video. I want to thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're hitting that subscribe button, I appreciate it if you can do so. Help me reach 500 subscribers by the end of the year. I think it's doable. With your help, I think we can all do it. So, that wraps things up. Appreciate it again. Next week, I'm going to cover one standalone movie and its remake. Only hint, it's about a certain town that's dreading when the sun goes down. I wonder what that's going to be. It should be a lot of fun. I really like those movies. I'll see you here next week for that. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Be good to each other. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. And remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.